Successful crime prevention and suppression efforts in the wake of the anti-immigration protests have brought an end to the curfew in downtown LA. That's the only place it was. It does come 1 week after that 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. lockdown was announced.
LA Mayor Karen Bass is lifting that curfew, but she says she is prepared to reissue if necessary. Let's go now live to Fox 11's Ed Lascos in Little Tokyo with the latest. And the last I spoke to you anyway, Ed, we were looking at a 10 p.m. start on the curfew. Now it's all gone. Does that mean people have rushed back into downtown?
Yeah, you could really feel a difference down here, Susan, over just the last 24 hours. Little Tokyo relief, finally, for a lot of the folks down here is that curfew no more. Joe will give you a quick look. We'll look down First Street, crosses Central Ave, and the Japanese Village Plaza. See, there's still a lot of plywood up there, but you know they'll be taking that down, most of it first thing in the morning, first chance they get. And you can even see more foot traffic here on the also on the sidewalk, and some motorists driving by. A lot more activity down here. Anyway, let's get to it. To the video we go. Check it. Some of the plywood already down from the businesses. This lady with the lady telling me that, well, they're excited to see the sun coming through their windows again, as that plywood has been up for several days. They even lost count. A lot of the plywood's still up, I got to tell you, interestingly, because a lot of folks here, the business owners, did not even know that that curfew had been lifted until their cell phones dinged late this afternoon with a public service alert from the city saying the curfew no longer in effect. And the timing on that just perfect, because a lot of the folks here, business owners, restaurant owners, they've taken a direct hit over the last week or so. First from the protesters, then from the curfew, then from the boarding up, the plywood. No wonder on this night they are all ecstatic. Listen.
We're ecstatic. We're excited to hear that it's been lifted. So we're just excited to see the neighborhood kind of come back to life.
Was it really hard, business-wise?
It was very difficult. Yeah, it was very difficult, mainly just because it was very unpredictable, and I think that's how the majority of our customers and the people who usually would come down to downtown in Little Tokyo, that's how they felt.
It's been a hectic this couple of days, because of the curfews. We all lost our business halfway, and but it's kind of good. The curfew is lifted, but at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Oh, and I hope it just stayed that way, You
think it might be a slow recovery?
Oh, it can be a slow recovery, that's for sure, because people are still afraid to come out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we know what you mean, Johnny. Now back out live, that's a concern, that uncertainty. So a lot of the folks here hoping for the best, that it's going to slowly move forward. But Johnny may have put it best, expecting it's going to be a slow recovery here through Little Tokyo and through other areas of the downtown, this 1 square mile area affected by the curfew the last week or so, because there's an uncertainty of maybe it'll happen again. The mayor says if things get out of hand, we could go back to the curfew. So everybody at this point, they're excited down here, but they're also realizing they don't know what could come in the next week or so. So they're taking it. Johnny said he's taking it day by day, and I think that might be the best way for a lot of folks here.
Ed, I had an event in downtown LA on Thursday and had a conversation with somebody who said, no, I'm too afraid to go downtown. And then that event got postponed before they lifted the curfew, but it got postponed because of the impression that if you go downtown, you might run into roadblocks or protesters. So yeah, it'll take a while, I think, before people forget the images that they saw. And you were there, you've been there right in the thick of it. It hasn't looked like that since, for a number of days, you know what I mean? The really high tension riot activity.
No, you're right. That activity, Johnny was saying, obviously he'd been here, believe it or not, Johnny, a street vendor here, 30 years, Little Tokyo. And he said he's never seen anything like this. And I said, well, you had COVID and everything else. He said, no, it's never been like this. The amount of tension with the protesters and the uncertainty of a lot of folks who are affected, could be affected by it. And as Joe gives you, look, you're right, Susan. We were down here live almost a night ago this very hour, and it was deserted. Now you've got cars, buses driving by, but particularly cars going by, a lot of folks walking the sidewalk, so slowly it's coming back here. But it's that perception, because we've been hearing it over and over again from a lot of particularly the restaurant owners, who say they've been hearing as their customers, their diners cancel reservations, say they're not coming down because they say, is my car safe if I park it here? Is it going to get tagged up? Is there a chance I could be stuck, me and my family, on the freeway if there were protesters? So yeah, it's not the case tonight, but it's that lingering concern, that lingering perception that you don't know what you're going to find if you come downtown.
Right. And gosh, Ed, just looking at that pan shot when your photographer was moving from you and moving around, I could see a lot of boarded up places still. What does that look like there with the boarded up places?
Well, it's funny because I don't know. My guess, I would say maybe 80% of the places here are still boarded up. They're slowly opening up, and I think it's because they got the notice very late this afternoon, and a lot more folks say, yeah, tomorrow morning I got some workers coming, we're going to take the boards down. But it is, and even if you go over by 7th and Fig in that area, over on 5th in the Bunker Hill area downtown, a lot of boarded up buildings. So it's strange. You would think that they would be coming down quickly, but to that point, and we're speculating, ladies, but maybe that is a concern that a lot of the business owners are moving slower than you would think because of that uncertainty. They don't want to take the boards down and then have to put them back up again. So maybe it's a wait and see situation,
It's not like a hurricane where it passed through and it's done.
All right, Ed, thank you.